This isn't the free world, this is a carceral setting, so there have to be definitions, there have to be boundaries, and they have to be definitive. If you can't say what a woman is, then anything goes. And in this setting, anything will go and will be taken advantage of fully. Women's safety, their mental health, overall well-being, everything has been compromised.
California has passed legislation allowing transgender inmates in the state's correctional facilities to be assigned housing based on their gender identity.
In 2009, I had just turned 25. I ended up in a very unhealthy, toxic relationship, and it led to a very unfortunate occurrence where I was a participant in kidnapping someone for a $20 drug debt. By the grace of God, my charges were reduced to terrorist threats with the use of a firearm, and I was sentenced to 5 years in state prison. During my incarceration, there was a policy that was just case by case. As there were safety needs for trans women or others, it was considered by a committee, and people trickled in, one here, one there. But in 2012, there was a convicted serial rapist who was transferred into the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, California. And it was extremely traumatic for all women on all yards, because the betrayal, the abandonment, all of the feelings that women already are trying to recover from and heal from, they're being re-traumatized from the state. January of 2021, when the implementation of SB 132 started, I started getting emails, phone calls, letters from all kinds of women, some that I've never even met before. There was so much despair and hopelessness, and it was really intense. I reached out to other organizations, the larger organizations that would characteristically help women, and the pushback I got was very surprising. No one wanted to talk about it. And the people who did want to talk about it told me I needed to get educated and learn the language. Someone actually told me that I needed to be careful. And I didn't care then because it didn't feel political. It felt like a human rights issue. And I still don't care because it is a human rights issue. So in the Central California Women's Facility, the cells are for 8 people. There's 4 bunk beds, there's a toilet, a shower, and 2 sinks. You share about 6 feet with your bunkie, so it's already pretty crowded with 2 ladies. So if you put somebody who's 6'4" and a man, it's extremely crowded. Having to jump on a top bunk in your nightgown over a serial rapist is a huge violation of every aspect of your personhood. To have to shower in front of somebody who's a convicted sex offender is completely demoralizing. You have to keep in mind 92% of incarcerated women in California are survivors of sexual assault. So for them to have to live in the constant state of hypervigilance, knowing that there are intact male-bodied individuals on the way, it's exhausting. I don't think any of them have really been able to sleep comfortably or just function on a normal level in a long time. As soon as the transfer started, there were people having sex on the yard, in the porta potties. People are getting into extremely abusive, toxic relationships that are exactly like the ones that got them in prison in the first place. So This is a continued form of abuse. If there's people who are engaging in sex, whether it's consensual or not, everyone in the unit, everyone in the hallway, everyone in that room is having to hear, see, smell, experience all of that, whether they want to or not. So this is a violation on every level. Every sense is being violated, and it's a common experience. This negligence on behalf of the state is absolutely disgusting. I can't even understand how they just are throwing these women away. What this has done is created a trans supremacy environment, having to watch them get whatever they want, have no consequences, get medical treatments that you never dreamed of having while incarcerated is got to be the most demeaning thing imaginable. Imagine not being able to get your breast reduction when you're wearing 3 bras and have slip discs, but you can watch your next door neighbor come back with a new set of breasts and completely hairless because of their laser hair removal that's state funded. It's a really big slap in the face and a reminder that you don't matter. I can't tell women they matter if every day their living situations prove otherwise. They're being erased. There's days where I can imagine them just looking down at their hands and their arms and everything slowly being erased. This isn't just a new prison policy. This is a practice run for what they want to do to the general public. And just completely eliminating the women's space is what's on the agenda. There's going to be men and everyone else. I established woman to woman with one of my partners. And it wasn't easy because we knew it was going to be a long and lonely road because there were so few people that were willing to say anything about this. A lot of people said, why aren't other organizations helping you? Can you call the ACLU? And it was very difficult to explain that this is a hot button issue. People are invested in this and they're gonna risk losing their funding and their financial backing if they speak up and out about this. So they're just gonna pretend like it's not happening. I know what it feels like to be in that situation and be trapped and to not have a voice, or to be screaming into a void and nobody can hear you. That's what they're experiencing on a whole communal level. It's horrible, and it's hard for me to understand not wanting to help them. I keep fighting this fight because I love them. I love them, and if not me, then who?